students, I'm Aanchal Sharma, your educator. In this video, we are going to talk about the strategies that are needed for paper 2. If you have English literature as your paper 2, then this video is for you. We are going to look at the 7 simple strategies that everyone should follow to clear their paper. Now, one mistake that I see that a lot of aspirants do is that they neglect paper 1. And this is a blunder that they do. Paper 1 is as crucial as your paper 2. It was seen that paper 1 was a qualifying paper before 2018, but now this is not the scenario. Paper 1 and paper 2 both are important. Your paper 1 has 10 units, and if you put some efforts for this 10 units, then definitely you'll be able to score good. Units like mathematics, your DI, comprehension, teaching aptitude, research aptitude, environment, your logical reasoning are some of the units that are there in paper 1, and you need a proper strategy for your paper 1. And what is also needed is proper guidance. So if you have proper guidance and proper strategy for paper 1, then you can easily tackle these 10 units, right? So there are some of the aptitude questions that are asked. These are comprehensive questions that you see in your paper 1. Analytical questions are there. And if you have correct strategies, then you can easily clear then you can easily score good in your paper 1. Then, what is the second strategy or trick that we should talk about? The latest UGC syllabus and pattern. Whenever you are approaching whenever you have decided to give any examination, one thing that is very important is to just sit down and look at the syllabus. Go through the syllabus, look at the major topics that are added, major topics that are deleted. That is why the latest UGC syllabus, UGC NET syllabus, as well as the pattern is very important. If you decode the pattern, half of the things are solved there only. If you see that the paper is becoming more and more comprehensive, and it is cultural studies as well as the theory and critical analysis that is being focused more on, then you will be easily able to score better because you will put more effort in those areas. So if you have already solved a lot of PYQs, if you know what is the pattern, how the questions are asked, you will be able to pay more focus on those particular areas. That is why it is very advisable to decode the pattern of the exam on your own. And that is only possible if you are a person who is very well aware and you know that what is the latest syllabus of UGC NET. So it is advisable, if you are from English literature background, first of all, download your syllabus. Then of course the syllabus is very comprehensive. When it comes to English literature syllabus, not much is given online, but you have to subdivide the topics and you need to study it in a proper chronological manner. Otherwise you are going to miss on a lot of things. Also, if you look at the pattern, you'll able to realize that there are few key areas that they keep on focusing. And the examination and the questions that are asked are also becoming very in-depth and very comprehensive. So this should be your approach of how you need to study. The third advice and the third strategy is that dividing the syllabus into subdivision consisting of different ages, different world literature as separate categories or chapters. Now, when you look at the syllabus, you will see that it is given in the form of first you have the poetry, then you have fiction. Like in this manner, your syllabus is divided. But what is advisable is to further subdivide it into smaller chunks and to pick each chunk according to the command that you have. So you should have smaller chunks like British literature. You should have chunks like American literature. Then you have other world literatures also, like you need to study about the Nigerian literature, about the French literature, or say about Indian literature. One thing that is also very important. Now, a lot of questions are asked from Indian literature also. When you decode the pattern and you subdivide it into smaller units, you will understand that what is basically UGC demanding. You will realize that they do not want to only focus on the factual details, but they are going in greater detail. Now they want a very conceptual clarity, and that is only possible if you read and subdivide the topics thoroughly. And no writer can be left and you need to go even further. Now, one strategy that I decoded, and we always talk about that in the class also, that if the writer is very extremely important and a very famous writer, then the least important works are very important. And if a writer is not that important, then the most important works are asked in the paper. So this is something that they tend to do. They want the students to study in greater detail and to apply the things and the concept they have also taught you. That is why not straightforward questions are asked, but assertion reason questions are asked now. A lot of assertion reason questions and statement wise questions are asked so that they can hold the child's grip and they know that they can grill the child in this manner. So it is advisable to subdivide the topics. Then you learn the most through practice. Now this is a tip, this is the success mantra. If you do not practice, then you will forget the facts. Chronological questions are always asked in the paper. Dates become so important. You need to remember, being a literature student, you need to know a lot of critics. You need to know a lot of works written by every writer. You need to know a lot of background related to every writer. These are the things that are asked in the paper also. They challenge you with these things. In fact, the dates of the Nobel laureates, the dates on which they won the Nobel Prize, not only this Pulitzer Prize, Commonwealth Prize, Sahitya Academy Award. So there are so many different awards also. So a memory, a person with a sharp memory can only solve the paper. And it is advisable to solve and to practice as many MCQs as possible. If you practice the lot of MCQs from each unit and you regularly revise those topics, then that will be drilled in your mind and you will be able to understand it well and you're going to remember it for longer time also. So what is needed is to practice as many MCQs from each unit as possible, as revising them will help you remember them. Unknowingly, you will be able to solve that in your paper. One more tip that is needed, say suppose this is your question, say question number 1, this is your question, you also have A, B, C and D. So there are 4 options. Now what you need to do, suppose this is a question from 2020. So these are the 4 options given to you as well, and you know that A is the right answer. But what I advise my students and what I used to do as well, you need to focus on the other writers also. If you know that this writer is someone you haven't encountered, just Google, just try to read more about that person so that you don't miss on the writers. Because of course, literature is very vast. You have so many different writers and it is possible that you miss on 1 or 2. So if you solve a lot of MCQs, then you are not only focusing on the first writer, that is the correct answer, but you are also paying heed and focusing on the other options. Simultaneously here, from one question, you are going to broadly understand the 4 different writers. So this is a divergent approach that is needed so that you cover as much as you can. So you need to study a lot when it comes to English literature. Then the 5th tip is broaden your knowledge to cover a number of new subjects such as cultural studies and research methods and these materials are available to you. What is needed is that you need to pay more focus and broaden your horizons to study the topics like research methods and materials in English as well as cultural studies. When the topics like cultural studies come to your notice, what is needed is that you dig deeper into those concepts. Because what do you mean by culture? Culture is from us and we are from culture. So we make the culture. So you need to pay more and more focus on topics like critical studies or theory, criticism, and when it comes to cultural studies or research, because these are the contemporary topics and a lot of questions are asked from this bulk, and you need to actually what is needed is having a very holistic approach. You need to combine the facts that you learn with the other things that you do daily so that you remember it for a longer period of time, right? So a very understanding level approach is needed. You don't have to be just on the memory level, but try to be on the understanding level where you find out relationship between the facts you have learned. if you study any writer related to cultural studies and any work written by any writer, then what is needed is to apply that in your life also, so that you remember it for a longer period of time. Then comes the sixth strategy, that is solving a lot of past year questions. Now, a lot of students ask me that, ma'am, do we have questions that are repeated? Definitely not. We do not see the exactly same question repeated, but the options that you have or something related to that question is definitely asked in the paper, because definitely the writers are there, they are again going to be repeated. So you can have a question that is very similar to the question that is asked. Or maybe, as I told you, there is one question and there are 4 options. So suppose from the first question, you have a topic like Dina Mehta. So Dina Mehta is the writer that in that question they asked. In the next year, they asked something more about Dina Mehta. So you get to know about the important writers when you solve the past year papers. So solving past year papers is a key to success, and that is very, very important. Then the 7th and the last thing, and that is the most important tip as well, is to have a very, very positive approach and hard work. Without working hard, you can never achieve anything. So working hard is very important. Make your own notes. Try to take as much classes as you want. Read, read and read. That is the mantra for any literature student. You have to grasp a lot. You have to remember a lot. You have to make your own notes. Use as many color pens as you can. Use as many registers as you can. Just fill those things. Just, make your own compilations. Make your own notes. And that is when you will be able to clear the exam. Also, being positive and smiling is something that is very important. If you are smiling and if you have a very positive approach, then the results would be nice as well. So, a positive approach with hard work will help you achieve success and to clear the exam. So, these are the 7 strategies, and all of these are very, very important. Solve as many questions as you can daily. Past year papers, past year questions are very important. Know about all the potential questions, know about the various subdivisions that are there. Try to relate it with your daily life. And last, be happy, smile and do your work diligently. Right? So thank you so much for attending this, for just going through the video. I hope you liked it. If you have any doubts, you can ask me and I'm surely reply. Thank you so much.